What is going on, you guys? It is your boy, Matt Talk Sports, and I am back recapping a full week of the NFL slate. And this time, I am recapping the second round of the NFL playoffs, and as you might know it as, the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. And man, we had 4 games this weekend. 2 out of the 4 games were great. Both of them went to overtime. It was just great football. And the other 2 games were quite lackluster. Both of them were blowouts, but one was a definitive blowout, and the other one was just filled with turnovers and bad quarterback play. But divisional round weekend, it just ended, and we're about to get into it. But before I get into it, if you're asking Matt, why do you look so psychotic and crazy? Well, today made me crazy because I'll be honest with you guys. The video you're about to watch right now, I recorded on 2 separate days. I recorded my Bills versus Broncos recap on Saturday, along with my Seahawks or 49ers recap. And today, I'm recording my intro and the Patriots versus Texans recap and the Rams versus Bears recap. So, Matt, why are you coming on this podcast looking all crazy? Well, if you were watching the game on Saturday, Bills versus Broncos, Bills lost. They did, without a doubt. But there was controversy. We shouldn't have been in the spot anyway, but Brandon Cooks had a catch that wasn't ruled a catch when it's always ruled a catch, and the tie always goes to the offense. Sure, that's one thing. Except we saw the exact same thing twice today in both of the games on Sunday, and it was ruled a catch, and the tie went to the offense. Now, I'm just going to do this real quick because I already go on a rant about this. You'll see that later in the video, but I just have to get this off my chest. I even did a short video on TikTok about it, but what is the difference between the 3 of these catches right here? Brandon Cooks caught that ball, down by contact, has both hands on the ball. Now, wasn't ruled a catch. What's the difference with that catch with this catch by Davante Adams in the Bears game? The defensive player has both hands on the ball, but Adams is down by contact. It was the exact same Brandon Cooks play that happened. Exact. But Adams is down by contact. What's the difference with this play? Defender has both hands on the ball. It was a fumble, except Hutchinson was down by contact. The difference between these 3 plays is that the Texans, Patriots, and the Rams and the Bears aren't the fucking Buffalo Bills. Because the NFL hates the Buffalo Bills. That is the only freaking reasonable thing I can say about that. The Bills should have been in that spot anyway. Josh Allen turned the ball over 3 times, but Brandon Cooks caught that ball. Especially after today, because seemingly the other refereeing crews got it right. And the big thing with today is, can anybody in the NFL, specifically the people who are in charge of the rules book, the officiating staff, the officiating crew, whoever is deciding these people to be refs, can anybody tell me what the fuck a catch is? Because I've been watching the NFL for 20 of my 24 years on this planet, or maybe a little less, 18. And I don't know what the fuck a catch is, but I'm pretty sure Brandon Cook caught that ball. I'm pretty sure he was down. And today showed me that it should have been ruled a catch. Except for Carl Sheffers is a fucking dodo. So, I'll leave the rest of my Bills rant for the rest of this video. That's all I had to say because what happened yesterday was a crock of shit and everyone knows it. Explicably, the refs on the 2 games today, because they got it right, except Carl Sheffers and his fucking Dodo Bird crew not only didn't get it right, they didn't review it. They didn't review it. Sickening stuff. But if you made this far in the video, leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe right now at Matt Talk Sports because there's a lot to talk about. I'm talking about all 4 games, and I can't wait to talk about with you fellas. So, without further ado, let's get into the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, and we're starting with the Bills versus Broncos. Enjoy my sadness and my frustration. Well, the Bills going to Denver, going to Mile High, going to altitude, and lose to the Denver Broncos 33-30 in overtime to the Bo Nix-led Denver Broncos. And this hurt. But I'm surprisingly taking this better than I could have expected. Maybe I'm just numb to it. Because the past 8 postseason results for the Buffalo Bills has just been utter disappointment. And I'm just numb to it. I really, really am. The past 8 season results for the Buffalo Bills has been this. Lost in the wild card round, lost in the wild card round, lost in the AFC Championship, lost divisional round, lost divisional round, lost divisional round, lost AFC Championship, and now we lose again in the divisional round. And not only that, we lose in instant classic games, and we don't just lose. We lose with controversy and big time plays for the other team or for this team that just doesn't go our way. It's heartbreaking stuff, and as Buffalo Bills fans, I don't know what we did to deserve this. What did we do? What did we do to deserve this? Because this is getting sadistic by the football gods. Sadistic. The past 7 season results that we've had before this one, which is making it our past 8 season results, maybe one of those you can put on Josh Allen, but this one you can definitively put on Josh Allen. But before I get into my critiques about this game, before I start ranting about this game, because I will, and I'm hoping to be coherent this time around, I'll try to be. But before I get into my rants and critiques, I have to say this with all of my heart. I love the Buffalo Bills. I love them. I'm a fan of other teams. I'm a New York Knicks fan. That's really about it. But I don't love the Knicks nearly as much as I love the Buffalo Bills. I just don't. I don't. Maybe I wish I did. Maybe I envy people who don't watch sports because they won't feel how I'm feeling right now. And maybe they'll laugh at how I'm feeling right now and how much I care about a freaking sports organization that probably doesn't even realize I exist. But I love this team. I love this franchise. I love this organization. And there's no team I'd rather win with or die with than with the Buffalo Bills. And when it comes to 17, it hurts my heart to see him crying at the podium after the game. Because I know how much he puts into every game and every season. I know how much he cares about Buffalo and the Buffalo Bills and every fucking teammate he has. I know how much he cares about McDermott and every coach that he has. I know how much he cares. I do. So it pains my heart to see him cry at the podium after the game. It does. It really does. And there's no quarterback I'd rather have in the NFL. Sure, you can say Mahomes is better. Sure, you can fucking manipulate yourself into thinking Burrow is better. I wouldn't have any of those two. I wouldn't want to have anyone else but Josh Allen. I lose and I fucking win with that dude. I don't care. And seeing everyone else cry, Brandon Cooks, Deion Dawkins, when he found out what Josh Allen said after the postgame, in case you didn't know, Josh Allen says he feel like he let his teammates down. Well, guess what? Josh Allen played like shit today. Probably his worst postseason game ever. But we wouldn't have been in that game or any game this year or the past 7 seasons without Josh Allen. So let that be said. He has saved this organization. But as a Bills fan, as a sports fan, as a football fan, I have to be objective and say what really happened in this game. So let's get into this game. Josh Allen played like shit. But as shit as he played, we scored 30 points. And we wouldn't have scored 30 points, let alone 17 if it wasn't for Josh Allen. He made enough plays to win this game, but he also made enough plays to just lose this game and make it out of reach. Josh Allen had 4 turnovers today, 2 picks, and 2 fumbles. Now, 2 out of those 4 turnovers are inexplicable. That one pick after Deion Walker, the rookie who's been great on the defensive line for the Buffalo Bills, gets a pick from Bo Nix. Josh Allen, 2 plays into that drive, throws a pick that's into double coverage. And then another inexcusable one. Before half, mind you, 11 seconds left with 0 timeouts, Josh Allen decides to scramble up the middle and run with the ball in one hand, and it gives the Broncos 3 points. Anyone want to take a guess what the Bills lost by today? Let me know when you tell me. We lost by 3 points today. But granted, we would have went into half down 7. Instead, we went into half down 10, 20-10. Darnell Savage letting up that touchdown to Lil Jordan Humphrey sucked. It did. But it would have been better going into half down 7 than 10. And now people would be like, oh, Josh shouldn't have been put in that situation. I guarantee you Josh probably wanted to be in that situation. And I guarantee you he was told, hey, man, if nothing's there, throw it out of bounds or just slide. And what did he do? He tried to play hero heading into halftime with 11 seconds left and 0 timeouts. That's just inexcusable to me. Inexcusable. Josh has been playing how long? He's about to turn 30. How is he making that big of a mistake? This is the playoffs. This is the divisional round. In the past 6 postseasons games you've played in, you have 0 turnovers. 0. Granted, you're playing a great defense. Great defense. One of the best 3 defenses in the NFL. Both in talent and through its coaching. But you handed over 2 turnovers today that made no sense to me. None. Both of those turnovers were inexplicable. The other fumble he had, unblocked, Benito strip sack to open the second half. And then the interception, Brandon Cooks, the big play in overtime, that was somehow ruled an interception and not a catch for Brandon Cooks. By the way, we shouldn't have been in that situation for that to decide the game. We dug ourselves into the hole, and we shouldn't leave it up to the refs. But I don't know what a catch is anymore. I don't. That's going to be the hot thing said this weekend, but rightfully so. I don't know what a catch is. I don't. I mean, hopefully you can see this, and is that not a catch? Is Brandon Cooks not down there? How is Brandon Cooks not down there? His knee is down. He has possession of the ball. They give that as an interception. I'm baffled by this. How do the Bills always find themselves in situations like this? Where a play like this is somehow going to be the big talk of the week. Bro, because that was a great pass by Josh, a great effort by Brandon Cooks. How was that an interception? And even more so, how is there no review there? McDermott does the perfect thing, takes the timeout because you can't challenge an overtime. How stupid is that? How do the refs not look at that? Last week against the Jaguars, we had a 10-minute look at a Parker Washington play that was not even as big as this situation was. If Brandon Cook catch that, which he did, Bills kick a field goal to win the game. Instead, it's an interception from McMillan of the Broncos. That was bullshit. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't have been in that situation for that to decide the game. But I will say this, 75% of this game is on Josh Allen, 25% of this game is on the officiating. That's just what it is. And as much as that pains me, 75% might be a little lenient here. Maybe 80% of this game is on Josh Allen here. You can't win a game with 4 turnovers, let alone 5 turnovers on offense. Like, listen, Josh Allen turned the ball over 4 times. 2 of those were massive mistakes and inexplicable. The other 2 were excusable. But James Cook fumbling when we're up 7-3, all the momentum in the world. This offense is humming. Josh is locked in. James Cook fumbles. Granted, Huifanga popped him. I mean, one of the best form tackles you will hit head on the ball. But James Cook, you lead the NFL in fumbles the regular season. You just can't fumble there. As much as that hurts, you just can't. Granted, he was great for the rest of the game. 100-plus yards rushing. We were dominating the run game. But after that, Josh Allen felt like he needed to put the cape on in one of the most bizarre ways I've ever seen him do so. He had some great plays, but man, the bad plays were bad. Not only did he have 4 turnovers, Josh Allen, he missed a couple throws that were shocking to me. The McCole Hardman throw in overtime, where McCole Hardman is wide open. I'm talking about butt-ass naked wide open, bro. And Tony Romo has the audacity to say it's a great pass when McCole Hardman's wide open and maybe Josh was getting some pressure in his face. I have to watch all 22. But Josh Allen throws it basically in the dirt. And Hardman, yes, he gets his 2 hands on the ball, but it's a harder catch for Hardman when it didn't need to be that hard of a catch. And then obviously the big one. We're driving, trying to tie the game or win the game at the end of the 4th quarter. And we're in field goal range, but we still have a couple plays left to try to win the game. And it's either 2nd down or 3rd down. And Dawson Knox is open. Wide open. Now, Josh could have had pressure in his face. But Josh is so great that you got to expect him to make these throws. and Josh just overthrows him. Overthrows him. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And Josh, if it wasn't for you, wouldn't be in these situations. But we have to be critical here, bro. Like, we have to. And now he has to sit through this offseason and hopefully get better and hopefully get more thick skin and hopefully just somehow progress into something greater that can win a Super Bowl down the line. But now he has to listen all this offseason. People call him overrated. People starting to be like, oh, we need to have a conversation about Josh Allen, which I disagree with those people. I don't think Josh Allen's overrated. I still think he's the best quarterback in the NFL. I wouldn't have any other quarterback on my team than Josh Allen. But that's what he's going to have to sit through because he played like shit today in a massive spot, and we were the better team. The Buffalo Bills were the better team here, and we shot ourselves in the foot. The Broncos, good defense, great coaching, but no right to win this game. Josh Allen, at the end of the day, had the ball in his hands twice this game, and he couldn't get the drive. He couldn't get the drive to win the game. He had his hands on the ball with the last drive of the fourth quarter, and he had his hands on the ball when his defense got him the 3-and-out in overtime, and he couldn't get it done. As angry as that makes me, as hard as that statement is for me to say, it's the truth. He couldn't get it done. He couldn't. But I still love him. Who can't love Josh Allen if you're a Buffalo Bills fan? But it's just ridiculous to me that people feel like they can't criticize Josh Allen when it has to be this game you have to criticize him because he's the reason why we lost. Now, granted, this is probably the first game we lost because of him in the postseason. But, dude, like, we left a lot on the table here, man. We did. We left a lot on the table here. And we lost to a team that has no chance next round because Bo Nix fractured his ankle. And now, fucking, we might have to watch the Patriots get to the Super Bowl and potentially win it. I'm just hurt, bro. I'm hurt, man. Because Josh Allen had so many great plays today, but also had so many boneheaded plays that he wished he had back. Overthrows, underthrows, interceptions, fumbles. It's like, man, if you just did not turn the ball over 4 times, maybe if you just did it twice, we win this game. Instead, it was 4 times. I couldn't believe he threw a pick after that Deion Walker interception, dude. We got a pick. Our defense is playing great. Just get into field goal range. I hated the first play on that drive where it was a screen, 4-yard loss, and then Josh decides to throw it up into double coverage. That was a throw where it's like, that's going to be a pick. I just knew it. I just knew it. But let's talk about some of the things this offense did that was worthy of talking about. Because obviously in a loss, and a big loss like this, it's easy to hyper-focus on the bad. And there's still a lot of bad to talk about here. But honestly, I have a lot more to say, but let's talk about the stats. Josh Allen, 25 for 39, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, 3 sacks, QBR 48.1. Does that sting, boy? And he got outplayed by Bo Nix, which we'll get into the Denver side a little bit later. But James Cook, 24 for 117 yards, 5 yards a carry. Josh Allen, 12 for 66, 5.5 yards a carry. Dalton Kincaid, 6 for 83, 1 touchdown. Khalil Shakir, 7 for 75. Ray Davis, 2 for 33. Dawson Knox, 3 for 32. He should have had a touchdown and 4 catches. Cook, 2 for 24. Brandon Cooks, 2 for 20. Keon Coleman, 1 touchdown for 1 reception and 10 yards. It's just disheartening and heartbreaking. Like, I don't know what we did for this shit. What the fuck did we do for this shit to just keep on happening? Listen, there's worse things going on in the world, obviously, but this is just a stab in the heart, man. It's just a stab in the heart, really. McCole Hardman had a touchdown today, and so did Kincaid. Curtis Samuel should have had a touchdown today as well, but a little overshot him. But I think we scored anyway on that drive. But, oh, man, I can't believe it. I do want to say this. Anyone who's blaming this game on McDermott, Babbage, or Brady, you just don't know what you're watching. You don't. 75% of this game's on Josh Allen. 25% of it is on the officiating. There's nothing else this game is on. I can't even really give too much kudos to the Denver Broncos. They just made less mistakes. They only had 1 turnover on offense, and that was a pick. And it was a great play by Deion Walker, to be quite honest with you guys. I just blame Brandon Beane. I do. Because Brandon Beane did all that talking last year on Bills radio talking about, oh, I can't believe people are complaining about receivers and we didn't draft one in the draft. We scored 30 points per game last year. Well, guess what, bud? In the year 2026, Josh Allen had to throw to Brandon Cooks, McCole Hardman Jr., and Curtis Samuel in a divisional game. Granted, Khalil Shakir was great today. I mean, this dude is great. I hope he's a Buffalo Bill for life. And Dalton Kincaid was great today as well, even though he played 30% of the snaps, which hurt my soul. I wish he was out there for more because he would have been way more effective if he was able to play more. But, dude, I mean, outside of Shakir and Kincaid, these guys he's thrown to is just ridiculous. And I'm not usually the one that's like clamoring for help, but like the help wasn't what cost the Bills this game. But Brandon Beane sitting on his hands and not trading a 2025 first round pick because he just wanted to trade the 2027 or 2026 is just unforgivable for Waddle. Like, dude, we could have had Waddle in this game, or we could have traded for Shaheed. Instead, he sat on his hands and signed Brandon Cooks. Listen, I like Brandon Cooks. I loved this shit. But if he doesn't get manhandled at the end, it's just a clear catch. It's really just a clear catch. Instead, he somehow allows McMillan to strip the ball from him, and it's somehow ruled an interception. So Josh Allen was bad today, but no one else I'd rather have. No one else I'd rather have at my quarterback. There's no one else I'd rather have. I don't care who it is. It could be John Elway. It could be fucking Brett Favre, Tom Brady. I don't care, bro. I want Josh Allen at quarterback. That's how great this guy is, and that's how much this dude means to me. He's my favorite athlete of all time. It used to be LeBron. It really used to be. But ever since Josh Allen came into my life, his persona, his personality, how great of a human being he is, really put him over the top for me. And then obviously how great he is as a quarterback. But yeah, man, this offense, 5 turnovers today is what cost this game. We were the better team in our offense, who's been so great this year, but inconsistent. Let us down. 5 turnovers. 5 turnovers. My head hurts and my heart is sick. 5 turnovers. If we just had 3, we win this game. Maybe even just 2. Sickening. And Josh Allen, hurt to see him cry. Hurt to see Deion Dawkins cry as well. But he's crying because he knows he did fuck up this game. He knows it. How can he not? He's an intelligent man. He's not oblivious. He's not a dummy. But he didn't let his teammates down because this offense scored 30 points. We didn't punt the ball today, dude. And we didn't miss our 4th down conversions. We got all the 4th downs we needed. Bro. No punts and we lost. Because we fucking turned the ball over 5 times. Hard to win when your quarterback turns the ball over 4 times. As heartbreaking as that for me to say, you can't win the game turning the ball over 4 fucking times. And now I can't even watch sports shows for a fucking week because everyone's going to be saying what I know, but being more over-exaggeration. I have to fucking listen to Ryan Clark fucking say he's right. Meanwhile, he gives all these excuses for Lamar Jackson, but refuses to give any sort of the same type of pep talks to Josh Allen through his fucking Twitter feed. Hate him. We shouldn't have been in position for the refs to decide this game. The PIs were annoying, but they were the right call. But Brandon Cooks got held in the end zone. That should have been a PI if those other PIs were a PI in overtime. Josh Allen misses Knox. That's huge. But Brandon Cooks caught that ball. That was an interception for McMillan. That wasn't. And the fact that wasn't reviewed is crazy. Crazy. Fucking insane. Crazy, bro. How was that not reviewed? You can't throw challenges in overtime. Whatever. How is that not reviewed after McDermott calls the timeout? That seems inept. That seems inexplicable. Brandon Cooks is down. He's down. How is he going to pick if Brandon Cooks is down? He ripped the ball out of Brandon Cooks' hands when he was down. As soon as you touch somebody when they have the ball, they are down. What? I've been watching football for a long time. What? But we shouldn't have been in that position in the first place. Now for the good, right? What was great for the Bills? Josh Allen was great in spurts. James Cook was great in spurts. But at the end of the day, between the two, it's 5 turnovers. The best bright spots that had no mistakes today. Dalton Kincaid, 6 targets, 6 catches. We should extend you, but your injury concerns worry me. Khalil Shakir was great today. 7 for 75, had some huge plays. Great reception after him. Great yards after the catch. He's maybe the best yards after the catch receiver in the NFL. Just terrific football player. Love Shakir. But that's really it on offense. Keon Coleman had a touchdown. Great touchdown by him. But, buddy, one catch, 3 targets. He had a catch in the end zone that he dropped that it was a holding anyway, but would have gave us 30-19. Maybe we find something there. The great today was the coaching. McDermott, Babbage, and Brady all called great games today, in my opinion. They were brilliant, and everyone's like, oh, during the season, like, oh, fire Joe Brady, fire him, get rid of Joe Brady. Well, grass isn't always greener on the other side. I think Joe Brady coached his ass off in this game. I think he was terrific in this game. I think he called one of the best games of his season. Joe Brady called a great offensive game plan. I didn't like one play call today, which was after the Deion Walker pick. He called a screen, and it resulted in a 4-yard loss. And the next play, Josh Allen threw a pick. But other than that, the plays that didn't work today on offense was just execution and execution of the players, specifically Mr. 17, which hates me. I hate to say it, but it's true. The defense was great. McDermott and Babbage called a great game today. Just terrific. And the box score might tell you differently, but it's true. The Bills lit up 33 points, but the defense was great. I mean, the Bills just kept on giving momentum to this Broncos offense because of the turnovers, putting them in good spots and shifting momentum after the Bills defense got big stops. The Bills defense was great today. Cole Bishop was great today. Shaq Thompson, Matt Milano. These dudes were great. Deion Walker, one of the best draft picks of Brandon Beane's career as a GM. Might not be saying a lot, but Deion Walker's been really good this year. But as good as this defense was, our secondary was really good up until the fourth quarter. Corbin Sutton started to cook. But this defense was good enough to win this game. They did what they needed to do. It's just 17 let them down. But the big thing for this defense that I hated, 0 sacks on Bo Nix today. And a lot of big missed tackles in the backfield that would have been huge. But ultimately, they did enough to win this game. It's just turnovers on offense really put this defense in bad spots. And I was saying to myself, man, this defense has been great, but man, they keep on getting put in bad spots. They're gonna break eventually, and that's what happened. But it was with 2 PI calls. But those were really good calls in my opinion. As listen, I hate the underthrows that turn into PIs because it's rewarding bad QB play, but it's the rule. And if that was for the Bills and it happened to us, I'd be happy. But instead, it happened to the Broncos on their side, and I wasn't happy about it. But listen, the Bills' defense is great today. They allowed 3.2 yards of rush today. Bo Nix, 12 for 29. Jaleel McLaughlin, 4 for 21. And RJ Harvey, 6 for 20. They couldn't run the ball at all today. Bo Nix, 50% completion percentage, 26 for 46, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Marvin Mims led this game in receiving, 8 for 93 and a touchdown. Cortland Sutton, 4 for 53. RJ Harvey, 5 for 46. Lil Jordan Humphrey, 2 for 33 and a touchdown. And on offensive lineman had a touchdown. Yeah, just a heartbreaking result. The Bills were the better team, and the Bills just shot themselves in the foot. The best player in the league and the best player on this team, the best player to ever be in this organization, this franchise, on this team, just had a bad day, had an off day. It was a long season, and I knew this team was flawed, and I knew this team probably wasn't going to the Super Bowl and probably didn't deserve to be there, but I thought it would somehow make sense for this to be the year the Bills get the Super Bowl. When everything doesn't make sense for them to get there, the team is undermanned, this team is flawed, but this is the year because the field is, easier than it has been, and we just couldn't get it done. But I hate everyone saying, "Oh, I got proven right," because Josh Allen didn't get it done in this field. Which, to some extent, yeah, Josh Allen didn't get it done. He was the main reason we lost this game. He takes the burden of it. But I don't care. The Broncos, the Texans, the Patriots, everyone except for the Steelers that made the playoffs in the AFC were better than the Bengals, Chiefs, and the Ravens this year. So, if this was the Ravens, we win this game. If this was the Bengals this year, we win this game. If this was the Chiefs this year, we win this game. We went against a good defense, and Bo Nix, shout out to Bo Nix, man. I mean, gutted for Broncos fans, to be quite honest with you, that they had a huge win, played a great game, then they have to find out their starting quarterback fractures his ankle on the second to last play of the game. That has to suck. Has to suck. And whoever's in that Texans and Patriots game, this is the AFC Championship for you guys now. Whoever wins that game is going to the Super Bowl. And if it's the fucking Patriots, I'll be sick. Sick, sick, sick. But the Bills lose, and now I'm in offseason mode. Now I'm in draft mode. Now I'm in who's going to get fired. McDermott, Babbage, and Brady shouldn't get fired, but Brady probably played himself into a head coaching job with this game. That's how great he was today. Babbage and McDermott were great. McDermott shouldn't get fired. I love the coach he's built here. He coached a brilliant game. He displayed how great of a coach he is throughout the season, especially throughout this playoffs. He was perfect throughout this playoffs, in my opinion. Made all the right decisions he should have made. I'd fire Brandon Beane. This dude has just sat on his hands way too much, talked out of his ass way too much about how we don't need great wide receivers and how we didn't need to trade for any. Fire Brandon Beane. He made some really good picks with Josh Allen, Deion Walker, and Cole Bishop and Kincaid, I guess, but Kincaid's a little too injury prone for me. But those are 4 great picks out of how many years this guy's been a GM? How many years has he been a GM? That's really about it. Osiris Torrance is a good old lineman as well. A couple other good old linemen. That Spencer Brown was a pretty good pick too, but he can't be sitting on his hands like this. Like if we had Jalen Waddle out there, if we had maybe Rashid Shaheed or Brian Thomas Jr. out there, then man, I think maybe Josh's confidence level is a little bit different, and maybe he plays a different way. But who knows? Maybe he still throws 4 picks or has 4 turnovers, mind you. So yeah, Bills lose, and I'm surprised I'm taking it this well. But this is my therapy. Hopefully, I start getting a following on here, start doing lives, start interacting with people who watch my freaking videos. So it would be a little bit more interactive. But for right now, you got to settle for this. I'm gonna get better, trust me. But it hurts. 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 It fucking hurts. It does. I have friends that complain to me all the time that are Giants fans, like, oh man, I'd rather be in your spot. I'd rather lose in a heartbreaking way than miss the playoffs. It's like, dude, really? You'd rather lose 8 fucking playoff games in a row in devastating fashions, and half of those games, maybe more than half of those games, are classics, and you're on the wrong side of them. Not only are you on the wrong side of them, there are some big plays that didn't go your way that should have went your way. You wouldn't want to be here. Fucking Giants fans piss me off. They really do. You guys have 2 of the best Super Bowl wins of all time. Who gives a shit if you've been poverty ever since? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Oh, God. Yeah, it is what it is. It's over. Until next year, until August, you'll see me doing predictions for the NFL season. You'll see me start to build hope. You'll see me start to say this team's going to win the Super Bowl. Finally, this year, this is the year. And then it's going to be the same old Bills again. Sadly. The same old Bills appeared in this game. If there was ever a cursed franchise, it would be this one. Man, it just sucks. It really does. I love this team. I do. But it fucking sucks. It sucks. I hated the officiating down the stretch, but there were plays that the Bills didn't execute that they should have executed that it shouldn't have been put in the hands of the refs. So, yeah, go Bills. Go Bills. I will live and die by that. If I was a tattoo guy, I'd have like 3 to 5 Bills tattoos by now. But clothes and sweatshirts that make me seem like a teenager will suffice for now. So, Bills lose. I'm sad and upset, but usually I'm a little bit more angry and full of rage. But I guess I showed a little bit of that in this video so far. But yeah, I have movies. Subscribe to my channel on Matt Talks Films, where you'll see me a little bit more happier moving forward. Instead, if the Patriots win tomorrow, I will have to talk about the Patriots and how they might win the Super Bowl. Now, this is a really good segue. So, Bills season ends. Josh Allen played like shit. And out of all the ways that we could have lost this year, Josh Allen being the main reason why we lost would have been the most pain way to lose. And that was what happened. So, a good segue. A game I predicted perfectly, mind you. A game that almost was immediately unwatchable. So I had to think about the Bills' loss even more introspectively. Seahawks beat the dog shit out of the 49ers 41-6. And I'll tell you what, this was bound to happen. Bound to happen. I can't blame Shanahan, can't blame Salah, can't even blame Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey and company on offense. That defense was too banged up that this was bound to happen. This team was too injured that this was bound to happen. The Seahawks were off a bye, one of the best defenses in the NFL, great playmakers on offense. This was just bound to happen. So 49ers fans can't be sad, can't be angry. This was building up. And if you're an Eagles fan, you're just that much more angry because, wow, can't believe we let the fucking 49ers beat us last week. But that goes to show you how great of a head coach Shanahan is and how great coordinators he has around him. But Brock Purdy, 15-27, 140 yards passing, 1 interception. Mac Jones, 2 for 4, 4 yards. Brock Purdy, 5 for 37, 7.4 yards a carry. Christian McCaffrey, 11 for 35, 3.2 yards a carry. Jordan James, 6 for 28. They couldn't run the ball at all today. Overall, 27 carries, 108 yards, 4 yards a carry. Tonjes, 5 for 59. Huge fumble by him earlier in the game. McCaffrey, 5 for 39 receiving. Juwan Jennings, 2 for 23. Everyone after that only had 1 reception. Tonjes, fumble loss. Purdy, fumble loss. And, yeah, I mean, the story of this was just the injuries were too much for the 49ers. And I predicted this game really accurately because my reasoning for this game was just like the first 2 games were close. 49ers won the first game of the year when they were most healthy, and then Seahawks won the second game of the year in a very close game. But off a bye, defense is well rested despite Sam Darnold on offense getting an oblique injury out of nowhere somehow, which he looked all right enough in this game. But the defense is just flying around crazy, like just flying around. Like that secondary is full of demons. Defensive line is full of demons. The linebacking core is really solid. I mean, it's a well-coached team as well. Mike McDonald's a really great coach. For me, it was just like the 49ers were way too one-dimensional. For me, the 49ers were just way too one-dimensional heading into this game. Like the past 2 games you saw, they couldn't run the ball at all. They couldn't run the ball at all down the stretch. And now they're forced to pass. So it's a relatively easy game plan for this talented and well-coached defense of the Seahawks. And that was it. All the Seahawks had to do was execute on offense. This game opened up with a kick return from Rashid Shaheed. Hey, Bills, you think you could have maybe used Rashid Shaheed this year? Brandon Beane, you're fired, as Vince McMahon used to say. But if you look at what the Seahawks did on offense, relatively, they took off the second half, really. They didn't need to do anything because this game was that far out of reach. 19 for 116 yards for Kenneth Walker running, 3 touchdowns. Shaheed, 2 for 27, 13.5 yards a carry. Charbonnet, 5 for 20. Overall, 5.3 yards a carry for this rushing attack of the Seahawks and 175 yards. Cooper Kupp, 5 for 60. Kenneth Walker, 3 for 29. JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, had 3 catches for 19 yards and a touchdown, and Jake Bobo had 1 reception for 16 yards. So the defense did a lot of work today. Kenny Walker did a whole bunch of work today. JSN had 1 touchdown on 3 catches. Like, Cooper Kupp did a lot of good work today. This might be definitively the best team in the NFL at the moment to me. The defense is great. This is a greatly coached team. Great weapons in Kenny Walker, Shaheed, Cooper Kupp, Charbonnet, and obviously JSN. And like I said, they're greatly coached. They're not going to be too many flaws in the coaching game plan here. And man, the matchups they get out of the winner of the Rams versus Bears game is very favorable for them. You don't want to face the Rams again because you see them twice a year and they know you. If the Bears win, I think the Bears probably get shit raced by the Seahawks, which I think the Bears will win that game tomorrow. So, hey, Seahawks, scary as hell. This was an easy game to predict. Seahawks were going to blow the shit out of the 49ers in this game. 49ers had this coming. They were too banged up. They kept on getting by with great coaching, except at some point, talent and the healthier team was just going to somehow prevail. And this was the game. This was the example of that. Seahawks, they move on to the NFC Championship, and they will be hosting it. So, moving on. I'm going to leave this in case you didn't know from the intro of this video. This was a video recorded on Saturday night, just so I can get my Bills thoughts out the way. So that's why I did the Seahawks. and 49ers thoughts as well because I just saw it. Um, Bears win. Loveland scores the first touchdown, and Patriots lose. Texans win. Texans score the first touchdown of the game defensively. Keep it in. And the next couple moments, you'll see how right I was or how angry I am because if the Patriots win somehow and Drake May looks great, don't want to say it because I'll get flagged even though no one's watching my videos at this point in my content creation career. I will physically harm myself. So, moving on. So, we're moving on to the Sunday slate, and the first game of this slate was underwhelming, especially if you're D'Amico Ryans and Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter, Stingley, and Petrie and company, because they were let down because of how dog shit their quarterback was. Someone texted me, one of my friends texted me today, is like, is CJ Stroud low-key ass after he threw his fourth interception in the first half? And I was like, low-key? This brother stinks. Just stinks. Stinks. Horrible football play from him recently, and that accumulated today, especially after last week's performance against the Steelers, where he had 5 turnovers, and he repeated that today. Or maybe just 4, my fault. He only had 4 turnovers today, so he was one shy of repeating what he did last week. But nonetheless, the Patriots, after being in a rebuild for 2 years or 2 minutes or so, are suddenly in the AFC Championship game. Can't believe it. Can't believe it, and it infuriates me because Patriots fans don't deserve this. They don't. But somehow they're rewarded with this. And it's not like they're rewarded with it. They earned this. They won the division, and they're doing their thing. But, man, they should have had to suffer for a little bit more. Instead, they aren't, and they're back to being a winning franchise. And now, with an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl while facing Jarrett Stidham, who used to be their backup quarterback not so long ago. But nonetheless, the Patriots beat the Texans 28-16 in Foxborough in a really, really hard game to watch, both from a weather standpoint and both from a quarterback standpoint, because both of these quarterbacks played horrible. Drake May had 3 turnovers today, and CJ Stroud had 4. Let's talk about what CJ Stroud did today, because it was historically bad, and he's clearly holding back this team because the defense they have, the Texans, is a Super Bowl defense. They are scary. And Will Anderson, I think in 2 freaking playoff games this year, had 7 sacks. Dude is a freak. And he had like 2 forced fumbles. Dude is a freak. But let's talk about CJ Stroud today and this Texans offense. They were without Nico Collins, but what CJ Stroud did today is inexcusable. 20 for 47, 212 yards passing, 4.5 yards a pass, 1 touchdown, 4 picks, took 3 sacks. Anyone want to guess what his QBR is and his quarterback rating? I'll tell you his quarterback rating first. It was 28. His QBR, 21. Just historically and bizarrely low. Houston couldn't run the ball at all today. Combined rushing, they ran for 22 carries, 48 rushing yards, and 2.2 yards a carry. Receiving wise, Jaden Higgins, 6 for 59. Dalton Schultz, 2 for 47. He went out of the game eventually. Xavier Hutchinson, 4 for 44, who was also stinking it up. Harrison Bryant, 3 for 21, and Christian Kirk, 2 for 20, 1 touchdown. Woody Marks also had a fumble. So this Houston Texans offense turned the ball over 5 times, and they only lost by 12. Bills turned the ball over 5 times yesterday, only lost by 3. This Texans defense was working their ass off, fighting their ass off, and the Texans offense, specifically CJ Stroud, just let them down. Horrible throws, underthrown throws, high throws, behind the receivers, back throws, just horrible stuff for CJ Stroud today. And, man, they need to do something. They need to figure out real quickly, the Texans, if they're going to move on with CJ Stroud, because he's clearly holding them back. And I think every Texas fan would realize that. They know that. They do. But what are you going to do? You got to give him another year. But if next year is the same as the past 2 years, then he is cooked. He's cooked. Especially with how he was talking about himself after the rookie season he had. He was like, oh, I'm a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. I'm better than Josh Allen and Dak and a couple other guys he had himself ahead of. Just despicable stuff from CJ Stroud. This guy gave Caleb Williams a motivational speech after they played in a Sunday Night Football game last year and acted like he was a fucking 10-year vet. Well, now, look how the league humbles you. Stay humble, bro. He's got to turn around or something, man, because this defense is too great to be playing like this. Let's talk about the Patriots offense. Because their defense had a great day, but man, CJ Stroud played like shit. Carlton Davis III was great today. He had 2 picks. One, maybe both of them were just horrible throws, but he had a really impressive toe tap catch on his second pick of the day. But nonetheless, talk about the Patriots offense. Drake May, 16 to 27, 179 yards passing, 6.6 yards a pass, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, took 5 sacks, and he also had 2 fumbles for a loss, but he also fumbled the ball 4 times. So he had 3 turnovers. Just a bad day from Drake May in this offense. And Drake May hasn't played good this entire playoff run, but they're winning in spite of it, which is a good sign if you're the Patriots. Drake May, he has 4 touchdowns passing and 2 interceptions. But if you consider the fumbles, that's 5 turnovers on 4 passing touchdowns. And then I forget if he turned the ball over fumble-wise last week against the Chargers. Let me see real quick. He did. So he has 4 passing touchdowns and 6 turnovers through 2 games in this playoffs. But they're winning in spite of him, and they won by double digits each time. So, interesting matchup against the Broncos next week, and that would have been a way more interesting matchup if fucking Bo Nix didn't fracture his ankle on the second or third to last play of the game. But nonetheless, Kayshon Boutte really helped out Drake May today. This unbelievable one-handed catch in the end zone that really changed this game and flipped it on his head. Ramondre Stevenson, 16 for 70 yards, 4.4 yards a carry. Travion Henderson, 12 for 25, 2.1 yards a carry. Overall, the Patriots ran for 32 carries, 105 yards, and 3.3 yards a carry. Kayshon Boutte, 3 for 75 and a touchdown. Stephon Diggs, 4 for 40 and a touchdown. Great catch by Stephon Diggs in the end zone. Demario Douglas on a 4th down gets a touchdown as well, 2 for 36. The Patriots were clamped on offense. Clamped. The Texans were doing a great job. At the end of the day, a great defense can't outperform a horrible offense, especially when that horrible offense is on their team. Because the Texans' offense is horrible, and you can't win with an offense like this, no matter how great and how fucking talented your defense is. Because you could win a Super Bowl with a subpar quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over, but when your quarterback is turning the ball over 4 times in this game, a divisional game against a really well-coached team and a good defense, a top 3 defense, and a good offense that will score points and capitalize off of that, you're not going to win. You just won't win. It's despicable stuff. I'm a Houston Texans fan. I'm angry because this defense is too special. Too special. But, man, I don't even want to sound like a Bills hater, but I'm not impressed by this Patriots team. They probably go to the Super Bowl because Jarrett Stidham is playing for the Broncos. But if they make the freaking Super Bowl, and I think the Seahawks will make the Super Bowl, there's no way they beat the Seahawks. I just don't see it unless Sam Darnold shits the bed, which isn't out of the ordinary. And I don't think they beat the Rams because the Rams defense looked really good today against the Bears, which we'll get into. But the Patriots beat the Texans and they move on to the AFC Championship, and the Bills should be playing the Patriots in the AFC Championship if the Bills weren't robbed. The Bills should have been in that situation where we left it up to the refs. If you actually turn the ball over only 2 times instead of 4, then it's a different story, but it is what it is. We got fucked over, and Josh had way more turnovers than he should have had in a freaking huge game. But Patriots move on to the AFC Championship after being in a rebuild for 2 fucking minutes. They got their head coach, they got their quarterback, and I hate it so much. Especially for a fan base that acted like that 2 years of a rebuild was a fucking eternity. Try being a fucking Bills or Bears or Browns or you name it, fan. Moving on, I'm sorry if I sound bitter and angry, but like today sent me over the edge with ridiculous officiating that should have been the officiating we got in the Bills vs. Broncos game, but it wasn't. Because Carl Sheffers is a dodo bird. Rams versus Bears. This game goes to overtime. It was a great game. The Rams win 20-17 in Chicago. And shockingly, this was a defensive game. And I couldn't believe it was. It was a defensive game. It was a defensive battle. And it was a great coaching battle between Ben Johnson and Sean McVay. Both of these defenses showed up and showed out. And man, the big thing with this game is no matter how great that last touchdown play to bring this game to overtime was from Caleb Williams had 3 picks. 3. The biggest one was in overtime because they were driving, second down. I don't know why he's forcing that. The game is in your hand. You kick a field goal, you win the game, and he threw an interception. Caleb Williams on the day, 23 for 42, 257 yards passing, 6.1 yards a pass, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, and he took 0 sacks today. The Bears' O-line was great today, but the Rams' defense was a game. This Rams defense hasn't played like this in a while. They play really good in the secondary, surprisingly so. DeAndre Swift, 19 for 76. Caleb Williams, 5 for 40, 8 yards a carry. Then Monungai, 13 for 16. Overall, 39 carries, 160 yards rushing, and 4.1 yards a carry for the Bears. Colson Lovin, 4 for 56. DJ Moore, 5 for 52 and a touchdown. And Cole Kmet, 3 for 31 and a touchdown. He scored the touchdown that Caleb Williams threw to bring us to overtime, which was crazy. Caleb Williams, man, this dude throws like he's shooting a jump shot in basketball, and he did it today again. Back-to-back weeks, he has some of the greatest throws I've ever seen in my life to extend the game. And he brought them to overtime. The Bears got to stop in overtime, and he just forced it on second down. And luckily for the Bears, this is the worst he's ever going to be. Imagine when this guy puts it all together in his second, third, fourth year with Ben Johnson. You guys are probably going to be seeing multiple Super Bowls. So as harsh as this loss feels, you got to feel good because your defense is going to get better, and Caleb Williams is going to get better. So, and Ben Johnson's going to get more acquainted to be a head coach. So, man, Dennis Allen and Ben Johnson did a hell of a job coaching today. This defense played great. They shut down a Rams offense that looked pretty unstoppable, and they limited on the 20 points. If you told me the Rams scored 20 points today, I would have told you the Bears won. Instead, the Rams did their end of the bargain and held the Bears to 17 points. The Bears defense had 4 sacks today. Brisker got a sack. Kyler Gordon got a sack. Dominique Robinson got a sack, and so did Montez Sweat. And really, one of the best things the Bears have done all year is a corner or safety blitz. They are great at that. Dennis Allen was cooking on all those type of plays this year. Nonetheless, let's talk about the Rams. Stafford was locked up today, clamped. He had nowhere to go. He had a really off game, but the Rams still prevailed. You want to know why? Because the Rams didn't turn the ball over. The Bears turned it over 3 times. Stafford, even though he fumbled the ball twice, it was recovered by the Rams, and that's the difference here. Stafford, 20 of 42, 258 yards passing, took 4 sacks. One of the best plays in this game was when this is a freaking testament to how long Stafford's been in the league and how great of a savvy vet he is. It's like third down. He wants to throw the ball, but he feels someone rushing him, and the player's right there. If he goes to cock back and throw the ball, it's a fumble. And he just knew when to take a sack. Just great stuff. Kyron Williams, 21 for 87, 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams had some really, really angry runs today. Blake Corum, 6 for 19 overall. The Rams ran for 111 yards on 31 carries and 2 touchdowns. Colby Parkinson, 3 for 56. Puka Nacua was shut down as best as you can today. 5 for 56, 11.2 yards a catch. Whittington, 3 for 35. Kyron Williams, 4 for 30. And Devontae Adams only had 2 receptions today. So the Bears, they played a winning football game. And the turnovers on offense for the Bears killed them. And the Rams are moving on to the NFC Championship to play the Seahawks, which is certifiably going to be the best game of the weekend next week. Can't wait for that. Seahawks versus Rams, Part 3. Now, that is it for the NFC Championship weekend. Bears, you lost this game. It stings, but you should feel happy about your future. This is the worst the Ben Johnson and Caleb pairing is going to be throughout their tenure. I guarantee it. Unless something goes awry, this is the worst you guys are going to be under Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. So keep your head up. You guys overachieved mightily this year, and you did your thing. So listen, no shame in losing to Sean McVay, Stafford, Puka Nacua, and Devontae Adams and company. Great performance, great year for the Bears. They did a whole bunch of shit this year that was mind-numbingly shocking. But how do I feel about next weekend? We get Patriots versus Broncos. Patriots are -5.5 heading into Denver with Jarrett Stidham as the Broncos quarterback after Bo Nix fractured his ankle. The Seahawks are -2.5 in Seattle against the Rams. What I'm rooting for so desperately is Broncos versus the Rams. That's what I'm rooting for. Stafford gets his second ring in that matchup. Broncos sadly don't have their starting quarterback. I don't want to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and I don't want Sam Darnold to have a ring potentially before Josh Allen because the bullshit I will hear because of that will be ridiculous. But man, it was a long weekend. The Bills lose, and usually I'm more angry and more distraught, but I wasn't. I'm only really venting on here to you guys because the show business, folks. But nonetheless, it was a great weekend. 2 out of the 4 games were very good. That is all you really need as a football fan in the divisional round of the playoffs. But next weekend we have championship weekend, conference championship weekend. Can the Broncos do the impossible and win a game with Jarrett Stidham at quarterback in the championship game? And can the Rams go into Seattle and win a game in the presence of the 12th man? We shall see. it is your boy, Matt Talk Sports. Follow me everywhere at Matt Talk Sports, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter if you made this far on video, if you want to see more short form content from me. And subscribe right now. And let me know you made it this far in the video. And also, I have a film account. Just reviewed 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Absolutely incredible film. Subscribe right now at Matt Talks Film to watch the whole video and let me know you were there. And also follow me over at Matt Talks Films for short form film content. But nonetheless, divisional round weekend, the Bills lose. Hopefully you enjoyed my rant and my trauma and my sadness depicted to you on a computer screen wherever you are, or an iPhone screen. You get it. Or a TV if you want to put me on the big screen with my big head ass. But nonetheless, it is your boy Matt Talk Sports. I will see you when I pick and predict the championship weekend of the NFL. Peace.